There are 63 Big Ten games in a season. There are 3 that count, unless the likes of Purdue or Illinois can prove otherwise the first Saturday of December. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media, subscribe right here. Instant analysis of Michigan's throttling of Penn State, 41-17 at the Big House. We had high expectations for a tremendous mega battle. It didn't come to fruition. Michigan went too strong, too physical, too fast, too everything, too well prepared. Too much leadership on that team, too much big game experience for Penn State. Again, 41-17. It was close for the first half into the third quarter. It was still a 24-17 game, but Michigan's dominance was evident from the start. Penn State had to make some big plays, special plays to stay in the game. All right, let's go back to a few things that we stated this week. I tweeted out at some point this week in the last couple of days that the talent on the rosters is comparable. It is. Michigan, by the 247 Sports team talent composite rankings, is number 13 in the country, and Penn State is number 14. The talent is comparable, but then you have to put the talent together. You have to develop the players. You have to put together a scheme. Experience means something. Leadership means something. It all goes together. The talent is huge, but then you've got to drive it forward into a cohesive unit. And Michigan is showing exactly what you can do with top 10 to 15 talent. And Penn State is showing that they got a long ways to go. They're good. They got a long ways to go. So I had gone down this checklist to say the talent is comparable. I'm interested to see Penn State defensive backs against Michigan wide receivers and Michigan defensive backs against Penn State wide receivers, but that didn't really turn out to be the game because all 4 of those units are top 2 to 3 in the Big Ten. And really, Michigan didn't have it over Penn State. That's not what won the game. Not that they couldn't have proven that, but they didn't need to. They didn't have to. It's like J.J. McCarthy didn't have to prove to be a great quarterback at all. Made some really good throws, really good plays with his feet in particular, but the game was not on him. So we will get to who won this game in just a second. But I stated earlier, Michigan's the home team. Michigan obviously does not have a good record on the road against top competition under Jim Harbaugh. A little bit better last year, but not good. These were 2 coaches in Jim Harbaugh and James Franklin who both have failed most of the time on the road against top 10 teams. James Franklin now 0-9 on the road against top 10 teams, 5 of those games against Ohio State, 2 or 3 against Michigan. So that holds. Michigan's at home. They don't have to worry about their road woes throughout the years. Penn State continues to fail on the road in big games. J.J. McCarthy versus Sean Clifford. Obviously, this is not a direct matchup, but in comparing the quarterbacks, didn't really come into play. Sean Clifford, the stat sheet is going to show 7 of 19, that he wasn't that effective. He got knocked out later in the game. This was not Sean Clifford's game. This was not his issue. Yeah, he missed a couple throws, but really, this was not on him by any way, shape, or form. Penn State had huge issues just trying to protect him for 1.5 seconds. So it was the Michigan pass rush all over Sean Clifford. J.J. McCarthy had time to operate. And when he didn't, he, of course, can kick it into another gear and make some plays with his feet as he did a number of times. So the quarterback battle didn't turn out to be much of anything right there. Here it is. You have 2 rushing attacks where you have a much improved and better Penn State offensive line, and you've got an elite offensive line at Michigan. Maybe the best offensive line in the country. Certainly one of the best. And then you've got Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, especially Corum, even though Edwards splashed big time in this game. 173 yards rushing for Donovan Edwards, 168 for Blake Corum as Michigan ran it for 418, 7.6 yards per carry. Okay. So you got 2 tremendous running backs at the top of their game, arguably the best running back room in the nation, behind arguably the best offensive line in the nation. Penn State, as we set you up throughout the week, an upgraded, improved running attack with two tremendous freshmen that have all sorts of good games ahead there. But I was thinking, shoot, two freshmen, Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, first game on the road in the big house. Yes, they went to Auburn, played well down there, rushed for 245 against the Auburn Tigers, but this is a different deal at the big house. So an improved rushing attack at Penn State. Great that they've improved it from bottom 5 in the country up to top 30, but in no way, shape, or form. And they ran it pretty well in this game at 5 yards per carry, but a dominant Michigan ground attack. Wow. And I'm guilty of this as well, even though we like to spotlight the offensive linemen here at the Voice of College Football. You see that all the time where it drives me nuts. You'll see it all over the media, social media, and on the main networks. They'll highlight that the offensive line was tremendous, and they won't name a soul. We try not to do that here at the Voice of College Football. So here we go with the Michigan offensive line. These guys, this unit won the game. They won the game. The Michigan defense was really good. We'll get to it in just a second. But these 5 guys won the game. Left tackle Ryan Hayes, number 76, senior. Number 77, Trevor Keegan, the senior left guard. The center, oh my goodness, we've talked about him so much during the offseason. The addition from Virginia, the Remington Trophy finalist, or in the running for the Remington last year, Olu Batimi, number 55, the senior center. Carson Barnhart, who filled in for Trent Jones, the right tackle, number 52, and another senior in Trevor Keegan. We talked about him as well. Zach Zinter, the right guard, junior, number 65. Give it up for the Michigan offensive line. Dominant. That's your ball game. That's your ball game. I'll go through some of my notes, but we saw it. Penn State made 2 plays in the first half that kept them in the game at 16-14 Michigan. Then they actually took the lead to start the third quarter, 17-16, having done basically nothing on offense aside from a Sean Clifford run in which he duped the defense and kept the football on the RPO or on the read option. So here's a few things. Joey Porter, the great Penn State cornerback, had a late hit early in the game on Cornelius Johnson when he threw him, kind of body slammed him. That obviously was a 15-yard aid to the first Michigan drive that led to a field goal. May have been a touchdown. However, J.J. McCarthy missed Donovan Edwards on a 3rd and 4 at the 11. That, again, may have produced a touchdown. So Michigan went up 3-0. Mike Morris had a tremendous play where he set the edge. This guy's had a great season. Came into the game with 5 sacks on a 3rd and 1. Stopped Nick Singleton for a tackle for loss that ended a Penn State drive in the first half. You had J.J. McCarthy with his one downfield throw. It was on a play-action rollout to the right. He was being chased. It was a designed rollout, but then he was being chased, threw a nice pass downfield to Cornelius Johnson. Again, beautiful 33-yard play there. Got to keep in mind that J.J.'s got a torn labrum. So he's going to nursing that, and his mechanics, as outlined by Joel Klatt, extremely important, especially because of the torn labrum, trying to make sure his mechanics and his footwork are sound and good, and his arm slot solid as well, to not put any more wear and tear or stress on the shoulder. Jair Brown, great tackle for loss. This Penn State defensive backfield, as I mentioned many times, that might be the best in the Big Ten. It might be one of the very best. It is one of the best in the country. You had Jair Brown with a great tackle for loss. He shedded a block, stopped Blake Corum inside the 5-yard line. That led to another field goal. This game could have been a rout early, but Michigan's inability, but I'm going to credit more Penn State's defense. Really, Penn State's defense is really good. The back seven's really good. They've got some issues up front. That's where they got pushed around. That's where they got leaned on. That's where they got ripped apart. The back seven in the secondary is tremendous. Abdul Carter, he's just a freshman. He stuffed the shovel pass that was inside the 5 to Donovan Edwards that led to another field goal. Or these would have been touchdowns. Without these outstanding individual plays by the Penn State secondary, these would have all been touchdowns. And it would not have been 6-0. It would not have been 16-14. It would have been 28-14. So tremendous plays there by the Penn State defense just to keep it close. But of course, we had the Sean Clifford run, and that was after one quarter, Michigan had 126 yards of total offense to Penn State's 9, and they ran it 84-1. And then that turned into final stats, 28-10 in first downs. Michigan, 563 yards total offense to Penn State's 268, 7.6 yards per rush to Penn State's 5. So they ran it, but Michigan just dominant in the run game. The Penn State pick six, obviously, with the deflected pass, turned into something. Curtis Jacobs brought it all the way back to give Penn State a remarkable lead for a short duration at 14-13 because they had been completely dominated at that point. Of course, Donovan Edwards with the tremendous 67-yard run. So this happened twice where Michigan's defense stopped Penn State in a key situation. Penn State had something going, got a couple first downs. Then there was a key third or fourth down. There was an immediate turnaround. There was a fourth down, not even a punt, immediate fourth down stop. Donovan Edwards, boom, for 67. Blake Corum, boom, for the other, whatever it was, 60 yards to the house to make it 31-17. The Donovan Edwards made it 24-17. And Sean Clifford took, he was forced into a very difficult throw on that 4th and 7 that led to the Blake Corum touchdown run. 4th and 7, Sean Clifford had to try to make a Aaron Rodgers kind of throw to the sideline, and he just missed it. And that set up Corum. And again, Edwards and Corum right off of the defensive. So most teams, you get that defensive stop. Maybe you go play action, go up top to try to shock the defense. Well, Michigan goes to their bread and butter, and they hit the defense with 65-yard runs for touchdowns. Impressive performance, folks. I did not look at the schedule to see what's coming up, but we know on down the line for Michigan, there's a date with Illinois. You would think Michigan State, that would have been a thought at the beginning of the year. Forget that now. Necessarily, I can't imagine Michigan State hanging with Michigan. It's a possibility Illinois could give them some issues. Maybe. I kind of doubt it. But credit the Illini. They beat Minnesota today, and they are 6-1. They have defeated Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. But it basically points to, again, 3 games this season. And the first one was not a game this afternoon with Michigan winning over Penn State 41-17. Wasn't really that close, although the score was still, a game was in doubt going into the fourth quarter. And then we've got Ohio State, Penn State coming up in October. And then, of course, the Michigan-Ohio State game in Columbus to end the season. This is our instant analysis of Michigan and Penn State. Get on over to the Michigan channel, where our guys Desmond and Dre are breaking down the Maize and Blue live, taking your comments and questions. The only reason we do this live is so it posts immediately. So I am not taking comments and questions, but again, with our instant analysis after the ball games every Saturday, we're going to lock in next on Tennessee, Alabama. We've got that on record. We're going to catch up to that here soon. And again, the Penn State post-game show is right here at the Voice of College Football at 4:45 Eastern Time in just about an hour with Tim Aiden and Marty Leap of Black Shoe Diaries breaking down the Penn State side. So you get the Penn State side right here at the Voice of College Football main channel. Go to the Michigan channel to get the Wolverines side of things. Appreciate everybody being here. We will see you soon. And again, so we've got it lined up for later tonight. Post-game, after all the important games, all the primetime games, about 11:30 Eastern. Give me a call tonight at the Voice of College Football. We will see you soon.